Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. Press the like button, the notification button, all that kind of stuff. We do a lot of fun things around here with Jeeps, RVs, family stuff. Anyways, subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to us. We appreciate it. So in this video, I'm excited because we bought a Jeep JK. So I've got a Gladiator. My wife has the JL-U and my daughter has the JL. And I decided to buy a JK. I found one on Facebook Marketplace for $6,000. The reason it was so cheap was because the engine was already blown. 123,000 miles on it. Guy bought it, was driving it home after he bought it and busted 2 holes in the sides, one on each side of the block. Put it up on Facebook, and I figured, you know what, for $6,000, the bumpers were $1,500 a piece. It had decent tires. It had, some upgrades, 4-inch lift kit. All that kind of stuff. Interior looked good, exterior looked good. For $6,000, how can you beat it, right? So anyways, I go up there, I made a deal, and I had it brought down to Las Vegas, trailer down. We dropped it off the trailer. All right. Perfect. All right, pup. Elvis is over here whining and complaining. It's all right, pup. I'd already bought an engine from 505 Performance down in Arizona. And I called them up and I bought one of their Jeep JK HO long block engines. It is a crate motor, but they get it. And what they do is they upgrade the camshaft, they upgrade the oiling system, upgraded timing cover with upgraded ring pack as well. It's got custom clay timing set, blueprinted race rod, ARP bolts. Yes, I'm reading this off their website as I'm doing this. Performance headers with stainless steel valves, rocker, a roller rocker kit also. Custom push-in rear seal kit, all kinds of stuff. Different camshaft. What it does basically is it does a couple things. Number one, it brings it from 200 to 240 horsepower. Which is a nice little kick for that engine because the 3.8 liter engine wasn't really popular in the first place. The second thing that it does is by them increasing the oil cooling system, it pumps more oil to the top of the heads and down through the valves, and that fixes a lot of the issues that engine had. Obviously, this one, the rods went right through the side. We don't want that to happen again. Another thing they do is they tune the PCM. So I sent them the PCM. They took it, they did some timing things. They changed the setting on the radiator as well. So the fans come on at 180 degrees instead of 220. They also did a couple other things as well, like they also increased the idle so that the idle's up around 700 instead of 550. That increases the oil pressure by 7 or 8 pounds. Again, improved performance in the oiling system. So this video, I'm just going to go over some of the things I figured out taking out the engine and installing the new one. And trust me, I watched just as many YouTube videos as you did before I did it, while I was doing it, after I did it. Believe me, it wasn't without its issues. We replaced the engine. We got a brand new Mishimoto radiator, transmission cooler. We replaced the steering box. We replaced the headers. We did so many things, and after we got the engine in, the car wouldn't start. Long story, but you'll hear about that at the end of the video. We got everything figured out. The next video, we're going to go over some of the upgrades that we're doing to make it even better, and wait until you see how this thing turned out. Worth every penny. Pulling out the Freon, the R134A. Make sure we don't bleed it to the atmosphere. And then we're gonna start pulling everything off. This is our latest project. This is a 2007 JK with a 3.8 liter engine. And I bought it with the engine blown. Big hole in both sides of it. I'll show you that in just a second here. It's Christmas Eve and me and Jim have been pulling this thing out. And we got it out, so I wanted to give you some tips. And I was going to make a full video, but I've been watching a bunch of videos out there. There's a ton of them. about how to pull this out, and everybody does something a little bit different. So I'm going to give you my approach for the Jeep JK 3.8 liter engine. Number one, my theory has always been and always is, more work is less work. So number one, get ready for the installation, or the removal and the install of the new engine. We have a new engine. It's like it's from 505 Performance down in Arizona. It's awesome. But first thing we did, get the bumper off. Second thing we did, remove the grill and the radiator. We don't want to try to pull this engine through the radiator, which I'm sure people have done. I've seen a couple of videos where people damage the fan and blah, blah, blah. Take it off, give you a chance to flush it. So those come off first. Boom, get them out of the way. Number two, all of your electrical harness, remove the battery tray. Get it out of the way. The battery tray. The power steering, we pulled that. It is here. Got it out of the way. We removed the air conditioning compressor. Get the air conditioning compressor with the lines out of the way as well. The starter has to come off. Go ahead and remove the starter as well. Getting it disconnected from the bell housing is a son of a bitch. And I'll tell you why. There's two bolts back here, and a lot of people address those, but they didn't really tell me how they got it out. It's like, oh, we're gonna do it, and then boom, it came out. So when you get everything disconnected and everything pulled apart, we took the fuel rail off, the intake manifold. When the intake manifold comes off, get everything out of the way, and then you can get behind there. On the left one, on this side, I guess it's on the passenger side, what we used was a flex head 18 millimeter wrench, a gear wrench, and we were able to get it down there on an angle, put another wrench on it to get some torque on it, and get it undone. On this one, we couldn't do that because you couldn't, if you put an angle on it, you're going to strip the nut. So we put a straight gear wrench on it, perfectly straight, and then what we did was we got a strap. What do you call those things? A flex strap or whatever?
A tie-down strap.
Tie-down strap, and tied it to a breaker bar. And Jim got about 6 feet that way, and I held the back of the wrench, held it on, while he put all his weight into it and broke that nut free. Anyways, that's how we got those two free. You gotta have the starter's gotta come off. You gotta take off these other ground wires and everything else as well. And then the thing will, and then the come out. Oh yeah, and you gotta get the exhaust out of the way. So, bumper, radiator, get the exhaust out of the way, get everything disconnected, get your air conditioning pump out of the way, get your power steering pump out of the way. And now we're going to go through and we're going to change a bunch of other stuff. I'll probably put a new steering box on here. It's not broken, but it's rusty as hell, and it's an original 2007. So I'll probably do that. I've got a new torque converter as well that'll give me more low end. Instead of being 4-to-1, it's like 20-to-1. And I'll show you the new engine, give you some specs on that in another video. This is just a short little whatever, how we got this motor out. And also make sure you put every bolt back where it goes as you're taking stuff out so you don't lose stuff. That's about it, huh? No? Yeah, we're gonna get it all cleaned up, start getting some new stuff, start taking the stuff off this engine and moving it over to the new engine and going from there. Okay, here we go.
Half the fun, right?
That is half the fun. All right, so we're getting ready. Keys in. All right, we got 123,000 miles on it. She's placed in park right now. Here, you film. All right.
You need to switch it?
Here, just go in the front.
Huh?
Just go in the front. You ready?
Pressurize this fuel system.
It is.
You hear it pump on it? You feel that? We're gonna find out. Yep.
Go ahead.
Elvis, come here.
Nothing?
Yep. So that's what happened. We went to turn it over and I turned the key and nothing at all. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what was going on. I ended up getting some crazy error that was saying that the key wouldn't work. it was a wrong key or some garbage like that. It turns out, after that, the problem was I had not plugged in one of the connectors at the bottom of what they call the TIP'em. I call it the fuse box. So everyone had said, whatever you do, don't pull out the TIP'em. Don't pull out this. Everybody said, I'm telling you, pull everything out, clean it, organize it. If it's broken, replace it. I pulled out the TIP'em. I actually pulled it out 2 or 3 times, trying to figure out what the problem was. And every single time there's a big connector on the bottom of it. I plugged every one of them into the fuse box itself, but there's one connector that just goes into another wire. And what happened was I didn't forget to plug it in, but I plugged it in and I latched it, but it didn't latch enough to pull it in and make a good connection. And that is the connection that apparently controls the security system, all that other stuff. So even though it was connected like this and I latched it, it didn't draw it in. So all I did was I reset that and it started. And then the Jeep ran, but man, it backfired like crazy. It would run good. You'd rev it up, bam, bam, bam. I thought it was going to explode. Stupid thing. Come to find out, as you can see in the video, I had a couple other people working with me, and someone did not put the ignition cables on the, on the spark plugs correctly. I don't know who it was. I don't really care who it was, but I should have gone back and double checked that. Finally, we got that sorted out. And when I did, now the thing runs great. And this is what it looked like when it started. So this is the original engine. You can see a nice size hole in the side. And this is going back to 505 Performance as a core. On this side, even bigger hole down in the bottom. I mean, it hit through that rod and it did a number. But that's the engine. That's what the 3.8 liter V6 looks like. That's what she looked like after the engine got installed. New Mishimoto radiator, new Mishimoto transmission, cooler, all new hoses, all new spark plugs, so much stuff. But I'm not done yet. So the next video, we're going to install some Fox shocks. We're going to install new bump stops. We're going to install new fenders from DV8. Some Amazon inner fender liners. Stay tuned. Check out the next video, which I'll have for you in just a couple days. You won't believe the transformation of this Jeep. Best $6,000 spent on Facebook Marketplace ever. You're going to love it. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.